so high, feelings flying high, emotionally dry. Welcome to Cozy Studio. I'm Ryan, and today we get to hang out with Jack Holiday and the Westerners. Jack Holiday is a Louisville-based band, and they are self-described as freak folk music. Am I saying that right? Freak folk rock. I think it says that somewhere.
Yeah. we kind of just go as a rock band now, but
rock band. Okay. So we've got Lamar Cornett on
drums.
drums, and Ben Short on bass. Hello. And Zach Groves on guitar, and then of course Scott Whitehouse on keys and vocals. All right, now get into it.
Yes, I know your subtleties. Everyone is talking about hazy shade, but she ain't me, though. Cry can't come naturally. So eat your goddamn pixie sticks that you take with your grain alcohol. And don't talk so fast, I know your tricks and love. Devil's Adderall on you. Why? Just so complicated. I am just a little intoxicated. You cannot always be with me. The one your crown will be with me. And though your mind been to the Johnny shoes, your heart will still be.
So, none of you guys are Jack. At least as far as I know.
We're all Jack.
No.
There are many arguments.
I am very much Jack Holiday.
I am Jack Holiday.
Jack Holiday is a cartoon.
You are a cartoon. I am Jack Holiday.
Sure, can't share.
I wrote a bunch of music, and then usually the way that Jack Holiday ends up making music is I write this skeleton, basically, and I throw it at the band, and then they morph it into an actual being with flesh and a soul and all that jazz. So in the music I've written, what?
Literal jazz?
I
Kinda that one song
What day
is
of
gonna
the
be
week is
sort of
it, man?
jazzy.
All right.
We only play
jazzy
Count
stuff.
Basie covers. I don't know what you've heard.
It's more of a.
Were you playing Basie? Because I was playing Coltrane. And
It's free. It's free jazz.
Free jazz. Cool. That's
There's
why I don't get paid.
story songs and stuff, and it eventually makes sense, but it's just kind of like a Floydian thing right now, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Did you just coin that term?
No,
No, Zach coined that term a long time ago, but I used it, and then we felt good about it.
So you played a show a month ago or so at Zanzabar,
Yes.
and I saw on Facebook, not that I'm always creeping, but I saw a post about how somebody used that show as their wedding reception.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's so
that
cool.
actually did happen.
Yeah, that was great.
There's this girl, Emily Strange. She did trivia at Kaiju, and just had a lot of mutual friends. And she ran up to me after one of my shows, and I was positive she was joking, and she was like, "Hey, I love your band. You play pop music, but then you do something weird to remind us you're all musicians, and then go back to pop music." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And she asked when our next show was, and she was standing there with her husband. She was like, "Oh, can we go to that for our reception? That sounds great." And I was like, these people are going to regret saying something like that tomorrow. But they actually did come with their wedding party.
Yeah,
So,
like
to
a whole
the
crew.
Jack Holiday
Yeah.
show.
Still wearing the gown and everything,
That's
man.
amazing.
It had a Game of Thrones themed wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
So she was dressed in the same outfit as Sansa at our wedding. It was a whole thing.
You talk of shame, so I'd rather not perceive. But I swore I'd make it happen, even though I knew that monsters would burn me up through. And they knew what that to them to me. That's all they all get, daddy, daddy, yeah. But I wanted you like man. Who's got the feel? You know it is so real that you just trust in it now. Who
you came out with an album. I guess it's been like a year, right?
Yeah,
Almost 2.
almost
So,
two.
yeah.
Mhm.
That'll be
So-
two in March.
Unsung Hero, yeah, our
Yeah.
debut.
How long? Like, do you have another one coming out soon? Do you have any plans?
We do. We have intentions to start tracking on our new album next year.
Sweet.
And we are doing a live recorded session at La La Land coming up in December. We will be getting video footage and just, like recording a live concert from. But we'll also be releasing some of the tracks from our album release. I think that everyone just had the agreed consensus that we watched that Radiohead in the basement thing.
Yeah,
We were like, we want to
I
do
want to do that.
at La La Land
Nice.
with us.
I
So,
hear it's a great venue.
yeah, it's a really cool studio for sure.
Well, yeah, we'll have to be on the lookout for that. That's exciting.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
2019 got some good stuff coming out for sure. So,
And I assume more shows as well.
yeah,
1 or 2 at least.
All right.
We have a few coming up in December. We have the Harry Potter show.
Yeah, we're doing like the Patronus Ball on Odeon
Oh,
Let me check the date on
okay.
that real quick.
on the
Yeah, what date is that?
8th. I think it's the 8th.
I think
That's
it's
like
the 8th.
coming up.
It's
I
a
think it is
Friday
the
night, Saturday night.
Actually,
It is
okay,
a
that's
Saturday. It is the 8th.
You know, we're gonna do some Harry Potter stuff.
And that's, and then we are in Owensboro with White Nine
Yeah.
on the 15th.
Okay, yeah, lots going on. No, do
So,
you?
yeah.
I used to see you guys like years ago, and I remember specifically like putting on war paint. Is that still a
yeah.
thing?
It is still
hasn't been for-
kind of a thing.
It's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit.
It's more of a like, okay,
I'm
this is
done.
gonna be a big deal show, so
You just like me putting.
it's not like
owns
a
on
every
your
time
chest.
thing anymore.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be honest with you on one of the reasons that does not always work as well
I
as
want
I'd
to
like.
hear it.
I buy a bunch of face paint, right? Then I party real hard with all of the people that have the face paint. We use all the face paint. You would think you should just buy more face paint. It's all going to be gone by the next day, every single time. So it
Regardless of
wasn't
how
really that
much
we
you
just. Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
no.
And they
It's
closed
gonna
our
be gone.
source, man.
And they closed our face paint stores, so we really
That's
only
okay.
do it on bigger shows. But I mean, we're sort of for just that sort of thing in general. We just do different ones at different times, the bits and stuff like that. But I like face paint. Huge fan.
And even is
So-
it just the face?
I mean, if you want it to be, no, we're not going to tell anyone how to do
Ben
it.
likes to not wear shirts,
Ben's big into the
If I'm
and
feeling it.
and I've
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
become I've
If it's
become the
warm
guy
outside,
that
you know?
he likes me to finger paint things on his chest.
Yeah. there's
So it's a group bonding experience.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
an air bonding experience. When Lamar and I,
I mean, I wear gloves. We're not animals.
we on the album release, there was this cool thing too, where like after some really psychedelic part, I took off my shirt and went up against a wall, and Vinny Cohert, who does all of our band art, came up to me with these I don't know, art markers, I don't know what to call them, and just
Yeah.
made me a warrior, and then gave me a satchel of knives, and I went and stabbed them into an organ.
Wait,
It's pretty cool.
literal knives.
Like-
you know?
Yeah, like
Hold
big
out
like
a
Rambo
cord.
knives.
I
Like
can hold a cord
several
down with
large knives.
There's a picture of this somewhere.
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah,
knives
I think
sticking
I've
out of
seen
the
this.
organ.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
So that's another thing I'd like to come back in 2019. But let me tell you, that is a one show thing, and it is a huge hassle.
Huge pain in the ass.
Galaxy, I think, is still mad at me because, to be honest with you, I got pneumonia after that show, so I was out for 2
I
months,
forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see you forever.
and they were calling me every week, and they were like, "Are you gonna get this organ that you just destroyed and left on stage?" And eventually, I came 2 months later to load out all of my stuff, and they were like, "Do you need help with the organ?" And it was me and my friend Richard, and we just went, "Good luck, bye." So I don't know whatever happened to it.
To be fair, it was a $50 organ.
Man,
That's
I'm telling you, that whole year, so we did that. Then we had Poorcastle that year, which, got canceled, and we had to play inside of a shed. And that was crazy.
The
Super
Poorcastle
awesome.
event?
The
Yeah.
Poorcastle event last
Finish
year,
it.
and then this
So
year.
yeah, the show where they keep like they store like the grain and they have their
And the tractor, and they
tractor
have the
and
big
all that.
kegs and all the pallets and stuff.
And so we just kind of set up in there, and Scott climbed up onto the tractor, and we all set up. And Ben was on a stack of pallets. It was a whole thing.
We had our choir hanging off the
Because
tractor.
like
doing
everybody
star
else was
dances.
like, "Oh, it's raining. We're gonna go home," and we were like, "Nah, bruh." And so we set up and we played a wicked set. We played really, really hard for like 15 people.
There were more than that. I mean, it was. There were points. There were points in these songs. We have this really hard song called "Growth Clock," and there's a point in the song where it transitions into just this fast, like maniacal, like chaotic metal, essentially. And right when the guitar hits for that, you can see in the video just lightning cracks across the sky, like Thor throwing his hammer, like because he's rocking too hard.
So
Like it was.
good. It
so
was the most
perfect.
metal thing that happened.
Now, since you guys go so hard in shows, how do you have like a regimen in preparation for that? I know you do yoga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have? Is there like a yoga routine? For the band?
Sometimes.
It's just a
Sometimes.
switch, man.
Sometimes Ben will stretch me out before shows, and it helps a lot. It's a sweet perk.
I would think so.
So,
yeah.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I have a routine.
Do you
It's
really?
not like
Okay,
strict,
yeah.
but yeah, I have in particular stretches that I'll do for my hands, my forearms,
Can we?
and
Do you want to demonstrate? All right.
well, I mean, perhaps like
Stretch
another
Scott
video
out.
elsewhere,
Stretch me
like
out.
because I do it on the floor.
Get
Like,
this
I'll
hammer.
touch
Oh,
my
okay. Yeah, we
feet.
don't have space for it.
But then, like, almost every show day, I eat a banana and I drink coconut water.
Really?
Yeah.
I hear bananas help with the nerves. Is that true? Or is it just like energy thing?
It definitely helps you
Just
keep from
the
cramping
body
up and
feeling
such.
good. Yeah.
I have like a specific set of stretches and warm-ups and stuff that I do, but that's just just because I'm old, and so my hands and wrists start to get tight if I don't do those things. But as far as like a ritual thing that I do, I mostly just try to get kind of intoxicated before I play, and then just
Yeah, that's the right
let things
recipe.
happen.
You're a little lucid.
I just look in the mirror and realize how awesome I am and how awesome I'm always going to be. So it just comes.
There you go. That's all it
Yeah.
takes sometimes.
That's why I drink so much, because I look at him and see how awesome he is and know that I'll never be that, and so I'll just
That's
drink
recorded
instead.
now. You can't take it back.
That's why I struggle so much with shows. If you're not at my show, I can't look at you beforehand.
I think like just when I get up in the morning with at least
In
7
the
hours
morning.
before the show. You guys wanted to know my regimen. You want to take my life seriously. Here you go. Here's how I do what I do. 7 hours before the show, 100 eggs.
A what?
100 eggs.
What do you do with them?
Eggs.
Eggs.
What do you do
Eggs.
with them?
Okay, I'm sorry.
What do you do with the eggs?
Yeah.
We don't need to get boxed
Just-
up in the details right
all we
now.
got. All we
Eggs,
know is
that's
100.
all. But you need. That's how many eggs you need.
100
And you know where they've got to end up. I do try to, in all seriousness though, I do try to show up for the show. That is dead serious every single time. No excuses. Show up.
Oh, there's always an excuse.
Oh, I mean,
A lot of excuses
Excuses
when
happen.
you're late. And if you don't show up, people will get mad at you.
I've noticed
Not
that.
either
I've noticed that
explains
myself. That's happened.
It's one of the things you pick up on slowly.
Yeah,
over the
you know,
years and the
the
You
first
know-
couple of times it was like, but I started to pick up on it. It
You know,
kind of
to,
upsets people.
to your credit, you have not missed a show.
I have never missed a show. What is the latest I've been to a show, would you think?
Poorcastle like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You showed up like
Yeah, that was
you
it.
parked as we were.
That was
at,
the one.
Like,
Yeah.
I parked.
We had just finished sound check, and you parked.
And ran on stage.
I didn't
with
even
all the
ask
shit.
anybody. Like, I had my stuff in my car, and I just was yelling as I was running with my equipment, grab everything to everyone. No, but we all do show up, and we try to, even though when we play a show, we kind of try to have this anything goes mentality. We really do, like, behind the scenes, try to all work on it, focus on it, craft it. It really is important, especially in this day and age where music is so texture-driven. It's a bigger thing, and
Like
live
the orchestration.
Yeah. I mean, you can things that would have one acoustic track nowadays recorded would probably have like at least 3 just synths thrown in as atmosphere in the back or something. So there's a lot. It allows musicians to have a lot more ambition, but it also involves that everyone sort of read each other and be much tighter.
Look at the battle, look at the mouse reincarnated heaven that you and I have known. Look at the small talk, look at the mouse reincarnated heaven that you and I have known. Could have been that girl, could have been wrong, but you know it's better off anyway.
Your music's not simple. You have a lot of stuff that's sounds very complicated, even though. So I mean, it's easy to like. I feel like sometimes complicated music can be like inaccessible. Like people are like, "What is that?" But you somehow have managed to make complicated music that also is like everybody can still jam out to it and have a good time. So
Well, it
A
helps
fun-
that everybody in the band is an absolute badass at what they do. You know,
That's
And it
really
shows.
one of
Like-
the nicest things about this band, for real.
you know, everybody like, takes their craft seriously.
I think it's important to note that we don't rehearse with a PA system.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
We have no idea what
he's
he's-
the PA system.
wait, really?
Yeah, we're in a room. You can hear the keyboards, you can hear drums, you can hear bass, you can hear guitar. And sometimes he'll scream or speak the lyrics. Sometimes he just
hand
won't.
signals maybe if like things get confusing. But
Hand
nobody
signals,
really-
Usually
jumps.
just paces.
Yeah, bases.
Usually just pace. I think the reason Jack Holiday exists and the reason we can all play together and this music is it's not, even though we all agree on a lot of things, it's not that we have the most similar aspirations or even backgrounds in music. It's just this agreed consensus on like what the principle of Jack Holiday is. And it's like Jack Holiday does whatever the fuck it wants on the fly. You know, Jack Holiday wants to sink everything into everything and show you a guitar solo that will melt your face. We don't want a PA because we don't want to be comfortable in that situation and uncomfortable in the like raw.
That's
So
a
it's,
point. Then when you play a show, you're ready for anything.
Yeah.
I think one of the best shows I think we've ever played personally
What, Kaiju?
since I've been in the band
yeah.
was probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago at Kaiju, and we were headlining this show. There were 3 bands on the bill, and it was hype. There were people in there, and we blew the PA 2 songs in. Just
No
pop,
way.
no vocals.
Yep.
And this one gets pissed and just kicks a chair out into the middle of the audience, so they scatter. And he jumps up on this chair and he looks at me and he says, "Play something fucking cool." And I just kind of went, like no one knew what was going on, so we all just kind of started riffing around on something heavy.
In total, we've been playing together for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
these two have played together for
8 years.
8 years.
Centuries.
And then Ben and I have been playing together in other projects for about 6 or 7 at this point.
Like, I don't even really have to think about locking up with Lamar. I'm listening more to Zach now because like it just happens. We play the same thing. Like pretty much always.
It's like
And-
already your heartbeat.
And they've been writing music together for so long that, you know, they kind of have their own, you know, psychic connection too. And so when the four of us get together, man, it's just like, it just, the synergy kind of like increases that energy like that much more, you know.
Yeah.
To have all four of us together like is just, I mean, it's the kind of thing that makes it so that you can play a 3-hour show on top of that.
For shame, I can't do things. I can't run out of slowly till you arrive with some concrete. That's me, loving young, like in 1983. Said I was a poet, in a light of Napoli.
It sounds like it just clicks. Like you guys can just go at it. There's nothing holding you back from doing exactly like what you want in your head and making it actually happen in people's ears.
It's all about the connection that we have with each other, you know, and it enables us to speak to each other musically a lot more fluently, you know.
Yeah.
To me, that's like that's what Jack Holiday is. I feel like just everyone being themselves.
Yeah.
And it expresses itself as it does at each show, maybe a little differently.
And that's cool because like Scott or Zach will write a song, but it's never like, hey, Lamar, play this. Hey, Ben, play this. It's like, here's what the song is. Now you take your part and you make it your thing.
I think, what I really like about Jack Holiday is there are, to me, in the show now, objectively, 4 different voices going on at all points, basically. None of us would write each other's parts, like, given, 100 years in the typewriter or whatever. And that's pretty cool. So just to even use what you said, like, with a more, like, indie poppy song, I think of where it's writing as, like, a starting point, and, so you know how, like, in Star Wars, Han Solo does the Kessel Run, and it's it's parsecs, which is a distance, not a time, right? So the big deal about the Kessel Run that he does is that they're actually doing a curved run that comes as close to a straight line as it could, but if they were to go straight, they'd get sucked in by the black hole that's, like, in the way.
Yeah.
That's terrible. So the thing is getting as close to the black hole as you can without getting there. So, like, this black hole, right? Let's say I'm starting an indie pop song. It's going to be already pretty friggin' close to the black hole that is fucking bullshit indie pop.
Okay.
Or, like,
okay,
whatever you want to call the black hole. So instead of telling people how we should write it, it's like, hey guys, metaphorical Han Solo Voltron.
Oh, God.
That's fucking right. Let's not go into that black hole. Set the fucking ship up, team. And then we do it. And it might be a different thing we're trying to avoid from where the song starts. But we're not trying to go in, like, a blanket, that's your taffy, eat it direction. It's usually that curve around.
But still staying close to it.
As close as
Oh,
you
yeah.
can without
You
getting
want to
desolated.
you want to be able to reach out and touch.
Damn, that was a great metaphor, though.
I know.
One time.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be able to hear you guys today.
Me too.
Was inside, yeah. My grave is you. Bye.